Yeah, Dalafalava. My name is Tufuga. I'm here to talk to you about my student loan and with specific regard to a letter that was sent to me by Kim Stewart from the Inland Revenue Department from New Zealand, from the New Zealand government. The letter is dated on the 25th of May 2011 and it's with regards to my outstanding student loan arrears. Now, we had a discussion over the phone regarding the student loan system, of which I have an outstanding amount, of which you have warned me that the government of New Zealand will take action through a process of asset seizure and a filing of bankruptcy unless I make immediate payment. Now, I have just recently wrote a letter to an email to Kim Stewart regarding my circumstances, and I would like to discuss the moot discussion regarding the student loan scheme and the amendments that have been made consequently to the loan scheme of New Zealand. I have read the Student Loan Scheme Act of 1992, number 141, as a public act regarding the repayment holiday maximum period of 3 years under section part 3 subsection 32 regarding overseas based borrowers are entitled to a 3-year repayment holiday. Now, that was an amendment that was introduced on April the 1st 2010. I was unaware of that until just recently, and I find those amendments cold comfort insofar as appeasing my already anxious state of mind over my present situation. Now, the purpose of my YouTube message is this: A, I would like the New Zealand government to consider student loans that have been considered outstanding for a period retrospective to over a decade to be either amended or even written off in a percentage so as to offset some of the outstanding loans, similar to the schemes for IMF and other international organizations dealing with bad debts of certain nations. Now, that would be similar to long-term unemployed university students in, say, living in foreign countries such as Australia or United Kingdom or Canada or what have you. Now, as a New Zealander living in Australia and consequently having been naturalized as an Australian citizen, I believe that the New Zealand government their parameters for the student loan recovery and reconciliation to be a bit harsh for people who are unable to repay them. I am a long-term unemployed Australian, and I have only been working on a locum-based temporary basis, on a casual basis now and again, and at no stage can I reconcile my student loan. I even had a lot of problems to meet the loan repayments for my Australian university student loans through the HEKE system, in order to reconcile my Australian HEKE liability system. I find that the New Zealand's response to be rather predatory, more so than the Australian student loan reconciliation system under the HEKE system. Even then, the legislations pertaining to student loans in Australia, or the tuition fees parameters, have been amended so that it's more of a fair go for unlucky students who are incapable, financially speaking, to meet their loan repayments schedules. So far, New Zealand has sent so many letters of threats demanding that I reconcile my student loans. I'm sick and tired of sending them messages telling them that I'm unemployed, and every time I forget to notify them, they send filthy letters telling me that I've just been penalised again, $500 every quarter. I find that outrageous. In fact, the interest rate is probably 200% on top of the principal, or thereabouts. I mean, it's outrageous. So I find that the high interest rate over the period since 1992, it boggles the mind. So I appeal to the New Zealand authorities to stop moving the goalposts to suit the conditions of your economic conditions in New Zealand. If you have poor monetarist policies pertaining to the economic fortunes of New Zealand, don't take it out on students. I find that very mean-spirited to tax the most vulnerable groups of people in New Zealand society, or even expatriate New Zealanders living abroad, by taxing students or even ex-students. They're just as vulnerable as unemployed people, and people on welfare, people on WINS, or people on Centrelink payments. You shouldn't, be predatory and hunting down people who are the most vulnerable. And I am deeply offended by the actions of the New Zealand government. I have repeatedly sent information through to you, constantly reminding you, and likened to a parole officer in the so-called HEKE scenario and analogy, which also offends me. I find that that the HEKE Project, even the very term of the project, to be very vilifying to an already disempowered person. I thank you for your time.